Hello and welcome back to Dead Dad's Kitchen. This week we are making probably like 15 pounds of meat sauce to give away as presents. Now you might be thinking, that's a weird and bad present. And some of my friends thought that too until they had a bite of the meat sauce and they said, I would absolutely like that for my holiday present. So I'm giving some for Hanukkah, some for Christmas, some for whatever anybody celebrates or doesn't. But I wanted to show my friends that I love them and I appreciate them.
Well, they say he's not coming back and nothing can fill the void, but at least we can try with food. I'll make some apple pie, come on in. It's Dead Dad's Kitchen.
You guys hyped me up way too much in the last video, making me feel very confident about all the videos I want to film, how pretty I looked, how cute my apartment was. So I will be making, spitting everywhere, I'll be making a lot more videos per your request, so thank you for the excitement because I'm really excited to make them for you. We are going to go to Target, we're gonna go to Trader Joe's, we're gonna go to Whole Foods. I don't know how many of these places will let me film in them, but we are definitely going to try. I'm so excited. I can't wait to do such a big batch of sauce with you guys, which I do feel like meat sauce sounds not sexy. Every time I say it, I'm like, it's meat sauce. Like it feels so heavy, but I can't call it a bolognese because it's not technically a bolognese. Like I don't do it like in the technical fashion. So we're just gonna stick with meat sauce and I can't wait to make it with you. So come on, let's go. Let's see where will let us film. We're chopping onions. Here's the thing. You know how I chop onions and garlic, so I'm not gonna force you guys to sit through all of that. For this gigantic recipe, I'm using one incredibly large onion, whole gigantic thing, but we're mincing that, so we're cutting it really, really tiny. And then we're also gonna use about a half of another big onion. And I remembered that I actually have some caramelized onions in my fridge that I'm going to use up because caramelized onions make everything better. So we're gonna be doing that too. So we've got a lot of onion in here, and I know that sounds like so much. And it is, but that's because we're making so much pasta or sauce, you know? We are chopping. We are crying. My eyes are watering a lot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to finish up chopping all these onions. Can you guys see there's this giant bowl too? We're gonna finish chopping these onions and I'm gonna say like 3 heads of garlic because this is basically 3 times my normal big sauce recipe. If you guys don't know what big sauce is, it's just when I make a bunch of sauce so that I can freeze a lot of it and have it when I don't feel like cooking or give it to people or whatever. We're doing that like 3 times, and usually for that I use 1 full medium onion and a head of garlic, which I know is a lot, but I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'm a garlic girl, I'm an onion girl, I'm an aromatic allium kind of gal. I'm an allium gallium. Isn't gallium that element that's like really soft metal? All right, so we've got these onions. We're gonna do our garlic next, and then I'm gonna grab those caramelized onions out. I'll show you when we're all done and ready to start putting things in the pan. We have a shitload of onions and a shitload of garlic that I chopped. Now you might be wondering, Irene, how long did it take you to chop that shitload of onions and shitload of garlic? About 30 minutes. But I really believe in doing that yourself. I know it's tedious, I know it's annoying. I personally don't love jarred garlic, or jarlic as Chef Reaction calls it, which I think is so funny. I don't think it tastes as good. I honestly don't even think it really tastes like garlic. So to me, it's just worth it. This is also cheaper most of the time if you just buy a head of garlic and do it yourself. And then buying sliced onions, like buying chopped up onions already, to me is also very wasteful, and like with money and with like plastic and stuff. And I know I'm not like Mrs. I never use plastic, and I don't claim to be like that. But I think if it just takes a couple minutes, just chop the onion yourself. It also tastes better and is fresher, and you get to pick the type of onion you want. Anyway, that's my spiel about that. The onions are done and the garlic is done, and now the only other annoying part that we have is blending up these tomatoes, but we don't need to worry about that just yet. What I want to start is getting these onions and tomatoes. We are going to use butter and olive oil. And again, thank you so much to my friends at California Olive Ranch. I wish this was sponsored. It's not. They have just sent me a couple of these and they are friggin' lifesavers if you use olive oil as much as I do. Hello. It's incredible. So I'm gonna use a good amount of that because again, we're making a lot of sauce. I probably got like a half a cup of olive oil in there, a little more. And then we're also gonna put some butter in there. I have like a half stick of butter because we're also adding in some caramelized onions that already have butter in them. So what I also have are a bunch of cheese rinds that I have held on to. However, you can also, if you don't go through as much cheese as I do, I'm a big cheese girl, you can buy just Parmesan rinds. Like nice, I think they're 60-day or more aged Parmesan rinds at Whole Foods usually, or at any grocery store that has Parmesan wheels that you can cut up. Like I think HEB would probably have it. Oh, let's chill out, right? Adding these rinds into your sauce is so fun, really enhances the flavor, makes things a lot of fun, lot of tastiness. I'm going to add these caramelized onions. And this is great. This is how you make a sauce, you guys. For most things, you're gonna want to start with a fat, then your aromatics, which are your garlic, your onion, your shallot, whatever allium you might be using. And then from there, you keep just building the flavors. And we just happen to be making a gigantic batch. Also, when I'm making sauce, I like to add my onions first because they take a little bit longer to break down than garlic. To be fair, this is gonna be cooking for so long that it's all going to break down, but it's just for smaller batches, you're always gonna wanna start with onion because garlic is a lot more likely to burn. Onion is a little more forgiving. So just keep that in mind when you're working with smaller batches. Oh my God, this is the first Dad's Kitchen in the new place. Hello and welcome. Okay. Onion is in. Oh, that's probably too much onion. Well, okay. Here's the thing. I might need to use 2 stock pots. Yeah, you know what? Let's just, before I get too far in, I think I know I'm gonna need to do this, so I might as well just do this. I'm just gonna fish half of this out immediately right now and put it in this other one. I just know there's gonna be too much, and that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have. I'm happy that that's the case. Okay. I already feel better about this. While these are going, what we're gonna do is blend these up. I really like to use San Marzano tomatoes. To me, those are the best sauce tomatoes. They're very acidic, but also like sweet, very savory. They're also from Italy, so there's like that component, whatever. But these are just peeled tomatoes. Normally I use crushed tomatoes because you can usually get them peeled, diced, crushed. Tomato sauce, I never buy tomato sauce. They don't make that brand, at least that I'm aware of, in the crushed variety. But I like crushed because I don't like, as you guys know, big giant hunks of tomato in my sauce. So I blend these up. So why don't you guys come with me and we'll do that. That was a lie. We're not doing that yet. I want to prepare my meat first just so that's ready to go in. So I got hot Italian sausage. I got pork sausage. I just like pork. If you don't eat pork, awesome. Use double the amount of beef. I guess you could use chicken. I don't think that would be very good, but like whatever your vibe is. I just really like my meat sauce with pork. I know I am Jewish, but I am not kosher. Normally, again, when I do big sauce, I do a pound of each of these. So this time I'm doing that just 3 times. So we're gonna have 6 pounds of meat in there. Now I'm gonna wash my hands. Oh, I also have another big old trick for you guys, huge tip that I love to do, but we'll get to that in a second. These onions have been going for a bit. We're gonna give them just another minute, but I'm gonna start opening all of my cans and I'll be back in a second. So we're opening our tomato paste cans, of which I'm gonna use 2 cans of tomato paste, 6 cans of tomatoes, and I'm just opening those. We are about to add our garlic into our onions. So again, I'm just gonna do half in here, half in here. Oh my God, I know I say this every time, but you guys, if there could be a smell-o-vision a smello tube. I would really want it to be right now. I'm sure in the wrong hands, some people would use it for weird things, but for this, oh, for garlic and onions and olive oil and butter. Oh my God, I wish you could smell it. Is this one of my favorite smells? Absolutely. And you know what's cute? Whenever I ask people their favorite smell, they're like, oh, I love jasmine, I love fresh cut grass, whatever. And then, you know, they'll say like, what's yours? I say, oh, garlic and onions, cooking in olive oil and butter. And they're like, oh yeah, that's a good one. Like, it's that sweet thing where like, everybody has that love for this smell, and I just think it's wonderful. I am just seasoning a little bit right now. Again, you guys know, we've always said this. When we're cooking, we season as we go so that we're not left at the end with something super under-seasoned that we're trying to throw a bunch of salt into, because the salt kind of melts and marinades and like melds into all these flavors as they're all cooking together. So that's why it's important to season as you go. Also, you know that if at one point you did season maybe a little too much, you can just like do a little less next time. The thing about cooking is you're always just trying to allow for error. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I am gonna do 3 cans of tomato paste just to be safe. So these are all open over here. Let's hope I don't knock one of these over. I hope that I'm not doing a flashback moment in editing when I said this and then knocked one over. This is smelling so lovely and wonderful. This is also where I'm going to add my spice. I get this at Trader Joe's. I'm absolutely fatal for it. It's the Italian Bomba hot pepper sauce. It's just fermented Calabrian chili, but it's so good. It's very spicy, but in like a not overwhelming way. So I'm gonna add a nice big scoop because again, we're doing a huge amount of sauce. Also, oh, here's another tip. I'm sorry I'm so all over the place. I'm just excited to be doing this, and I did have a lot of coffee today. Whenever I'm using something like this that I dip back into a lot and keep in my fridge, always just use a new spoon. It's not worth it to use something you've already used because you don't know what germs are on there. You don't know what, you know, you might have had like a little piece of pork on it and it goes in there. You just wanna always be safe. So if you're reusing something a lot, always use a new utensil. But on top of that, I also like to add a little bit of crushed red pepper. I just think it adds that kind of classic sauce, like flavor. So that's been an addition to my dad's recipe that I've kind of added on to. This is also where we're putting in our dried basil and dried oregano. But first I'm gonna mix this all in so it's all well incorporated. This is gonna help wake up those dried seasonings. You know, this basil is dried, so it needs to sort of be reinvigorated, if you know what I mean. Well, not if you know what I mean like that, but just like it needs to come back to life. Now, again, I'm not measuring. I'm just doing a pretty hefty amount of oregano in each of these because I love oregano and sauce. Gorgeous. Some basil. And again, put, you know, in this giant thing, I probably put maybe 2.5 teaspoons, almost like a light tablespoon of oregano, teaspoon or so of basil. And we can always add more as we're going along, but like my mom always says, you can always add more, you can never take away. It's the same in cooking, it's the same in life. You can always say something else, but you can't take back something you might have said that could have hurt someone's feelings. Gorgelicious, definitious, make the boys go loco. That is phenomenal. Is this annoying to have this light on? Because that helps me a lot. Okay, now here's a crazy thing I'm gonna do. I'm going to lower these a little bit. I'm also going to turn on this back burner also to low, and I'm moving this bad boy, whoa, over here. Remember I told you guys I wanted to keep this big pan? You're about to see why. We're gonna take a little scoop of this. We're gonna add it in here, okay? Irene, why are you doing that? You look insane. I know. Here's what we're doing. We're going to pre-brown our meat in this pan before we add it into our sauce because we're not gonna get as much caramelization in here since the base is so filled with those onions and those fats and everything. We're adding a little bit of this in here so we get the fat so we can start caramelizing our meat. Also have some of those flavors working in there so the meat's not just working with nothing. And then when we add it back in, we'll have all these caramely, crispy bits that add so much flavor and depth to the sauce. You're going to never make sauce the same way again. You're going to love this. I like to start with pork because the pork has more flavor, then it'll put more flavor into the beef. That's just me, whatever you're working with, do it however you want. Again, I think I mentioned this. I'm using hot Italian pork sausage. I like my stuff spicy, God forbid. Just like me. Now I just handled some raw meat, so I am washing my hands, as you always should. And I'm kind of gonna let this vibe here for a minute. Let a crust form, and then we'll start breaking it up. So I'll see you guys in a second. I'm very sweaty, so you know I'm existing. While our garlic and onions and seasonings and everything are vibing on the stove, I'm going to add my tomato paste so that that starts cooking down. Our sausage is still going. She is living, laughing, and well, she's not living anymore, but that's the sad truth of when you're cooking. We're adding 1.5 cans to each of these. We're putting it in here now so that the super tomatoiness of it can cook off a little bit, and that this can also start to absorb some of that salt and pepper and basil and chili. So you can see some little bits of our pork. They're getting really brown, and that caramelization brings so much flavor into your sauce. So that's why we're taking this little extra step to brown it separately. And it also gives us a chance to make sure it cooks all the way through. Again, this is going to be cooking and simmering for quite some time. You know, it's not the end of the world if there's some pink in there, but this just gives it that extra chance, you know. And you can't pay for that caramelization. Like, it's so important. Gorgelicious. Oh, I'm so happy I did this in 2 pans. That's crazy that I thought I could do it in 1. So beautiful, you guys. I gotta get you in here again. Oh my God. Tomato paste and onions and garlic are cooking and cooking down and melding. Gorge. Pork is caramelizing. We are seasoning. Be careful, there are lots of juices that are very hot. And we're gonna start moving this over, half and half. Little of that. Realistically, you guys, I probably overcrowded this pan, so it didn't get as brown as I'd like, but there is enough browning in there that this was worth it. So now we're gonna do just a little of this. Whoa! And you have to be very careful because this is grease and there is an open flame and that can cause a grease fire, but I think we're fine. Actually, are we? Hold on. Nope. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Turning that off. You do not put out a grease fire with water. Do not throw water on a grease fire. You have to smother it. We're gonna give this a little mixy mix. Get that sausage incorporated into our tomato paste, onions and garlic and all that magic. And just get her working in there. Now we're gonna add, let's not overcrowd our pan. How about that? And in case you thought I forgot, I absolutely have my tasting baguette. If you guys don't know what a tasting baguette is, it's the baguette of bread that I get for when I'm making sauce so that I can taste it as I'm going. And it's actually one of my favorite little hacks that I have. Always stirring this. You want to keep stirring this so that nothing gets stuck to the bottom of the pot. Some stuff will, that's okay. That's called a fond, and that's good. We just don't want it to burn. So that's why we're gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna go, because it's so hot and I'm freaking out. I'm going to start blending these tomatoes up. All I'm gonna do is put them in a blender. So when you see that they are now crushed, that's what happened. But I'm gonna keep browning this off, add it to each thing. You know how it goes. I'll see you when we start adding our tomato goo. That was sweaty, it's hilarious. We're on our last pound of ground beef browning. Now I've blended up our tomato goo for 1, so this is 1 can. With each can, I'm doing a little bit of water. So I rinse out the can with some water and put that in there as well. Truly just like a little blitz. Enough to make sure everything is broken up. Then, right into there. Give each of these a little stir, ski, and hutch. And again, if you guys have anything stuck to the bottom, this is the time. When you're adding liquid, that's the time to scrape that off the bottom because that liquid is gonna help loosen it up. Also, when you're messing with cans, these are razor sharp. Please be careful. The way my dad used to scream at me to be careful with these, but I'll tell you what, guess who only cut herself a couple times? You also want to be careful when disposing of them because sanitation workers take these garbage bags, so make sure you push them into the can. Be smart. Oh, that's an onion. I thought it was like a piece of plastic. We're good. And I know that fat, that beef fat, yes, it is fat. It is also flavor. So don't be afraid of it. So things have quieted down now a little bit. We've added 2 cans each of tomato sauce into our, 3 pounds each of pork and beef, spices, garlic, onions, all that incredible stuff. We're gonna do a little season because now we've added a bunch of tomatoes. Tomatoes eat up salt like nobody's business. So make sure you're tasting as you go, seasoning as you go. Do you want a little more heat in there? Add some more chili. Do you want a little more aromatic in there? Add some more basil, add some more oregano. Just taste as you go, let it vibe. We've got 2 more cans of tomatoes and I will show you where we are after we've added all that. There's gonna be somebody that loves this, right? I'm gonna find a cool, hot Jewish doctor that loves sweaty women. That'll be great. So I've cleaned my kitchen. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my old Parmesan rinds, Pecorino rinds, both of which have a natural rind. I always use Pecorino and Parmesan rinds, which are both totally edible. They can just get too tough to chew, so you don't usually eat them like as cheese. But with that, they can be used to enrich soups and sauces and all that wonderful stuff. I'm just gonna use all of these because I have them. It's also time to add our wine. My dad always added wine to his marinara sauce, his meat sauce, and I really love doing that, partially because my daddy did it, and also partially because I do think it really enhances the flavor. I just got a new little red that I saw at Trader Joe's. It was like $3. I am not somebody who is of the impression that you have to cook with wine you would drink. First of all, I'm gonna drink pretty much any wine. Secondly, I think this is kind of just to give the essence of mother. Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay. Well, we're just gonna do a glug in there, a glug in there, a glug in here. Oh, that's nice. That's very blackberry-y. I like that. This was $3 at Trader Joe's. Oh, that's what I was saying. I think that the red wine kind of just is ooh, there's a little something extra in here. And I like that. Let's just dip this in here. So immediately I'm tasting that I'm really happy with where the seasoning is. I think it's salty enough. Why am I showing you like you can taste it? I wish you could. I'm getting a big hit of that red wine because I literally just added it. I'm also tasting that I think I could add a little more red pepper, and I think I could add a little more oregano and basil. Now, you don't want to go too crazy as you're adding these because as our sauce cooks down and simmers down and some of that water leaves, these flavors are going to become more concentrated. That's why a lot of the times sauce will taste better the day after you make it or 2 days after you make it because it's had a chance to kind of vibe and hang out together and really meld and work and get to know each other. I'm gonna keep dipping this just because it's here and I have it. So that's something I really love about the memories of my dad cooking. We always had to use freshly grated Parmesan and we always use fresh garlic. And so I've really carried that over into my cooking. It's very important to me to do those things. And I really earnestly taste a difference in it. Maybe it's just my heart telling me that there's a difference, but it's there. See you in a minute. So this has been kind of sitting, reducing for 15-20 minutes. Some of the sauce is getting, again, little stuck to the bottom. That's why you want to keep moving it. Keep making sure it's getting moved around, agitated, so nothing gets burnt on the bottom. The caramelization on the bottom is good. We just don't want it to get burnt. I'm just gonna bring this heat down a little bit, let it keep reducing down for a little while. Then we're gonna start packaging it up for our presents. So y'all saw earlier, I bought a bunch of these little reusable plastic containers from Target. They're just these little Ziploc containers, these reusable plastic ones that I love, I use all the time. They're freezer safe, they're dishwasher safe, they're microwave safe. So I just figured these would be like a perfect little whatever. We're just gonna start filling these up. You'll see if you make this sauce, the meat and stuff does fall to the bottom just because of physics. I don't know, maybe, is that physics? But you'll just start scooping from the bottom. And then sometimes you'll get like a Parmesan rind. I'm actually gonna not put these in there. Not everybody's gonna know that it's in there to flavor the sauce, and I don't want to have anybody be like, did this forget to take all the stuff out? Like, is there plastic in? No. Come here. Let's do it like that full and see how that vibe goes. I'm also putting this on a sheet pan so that I can put this all in the fridge at one time. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna bite the bullet and dirty another thing because that's what we need to do. Oh, see, there's a little burnt on there. That's okay. It happens. It's bound to happen. We're taking this off the heat. This one's gonna stay going. If I've told you all once, I've told you 1,000 times. We are not putting this directly in the fridge from it being hot. We need it to come to room temperature a little bit so that we are not increasing the heat of our fridge and trying to cool this down too much, because then it would be at a dangerous temperature for too long. So I'm gonna let this come to room temperature for a little while, then we'll lid them, then we'll fridge them. I'm gonna do the same exact thing with this one, then I'm gonna label them, but I'll probably label them tomorrow when they're not too hot to handle. Remember the first season of that show was really fun, and then you'll see me in a little bit tomorrow probably when we're labeling and when we're doing, but I'm so happy you guys are here for me to make everything, and I'm so curious if you guys think you'll do something like this for the holidays. I don't think anyone's gonna make as much because I'm an insane person, but I am curious if you're gonna give this a shot. Maybe something like this. Maybe it has sparked an idea in you. Oh, I don't wanna make sauce, but I do wanna crochet everybody something, or I do wanna knit everyone something. I'm curious, so leave in the comments what you think you might do as a homemade gift this year. I saw in my last video, a couple of people did comment that they were gonna do homemade stuff this year too. So let me know, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. But for right now, it'll be in like a second. Okay, bye. The packaging did not turn out as cute as I thought it would. All I ended up doing is putting a little bow and, I'm putting a bow on everything nowadays. Putting a little bow and putting some tape with the person's name on it, and I give them the pasta with it. So, also I partially just wanted to show you guys my little bags that I got back. But yes, thank you for being here with me during the gigantic pasta-thon, or sauce-a-thon of 2023. And I will see you guys next week for either a podcast or a marshmallow video. I don't know, but I'll see you soon, and I love you. Oh, happy Hanukkah.